Hello, my dear friends and my dear students. Once again, I'm back. This side, Dr. Manushi Mukhopadhyay, and today we will be discussing one of the periodic properties of the elements present in periodic table, and that is polarization. Now, to understand polarization, we have to first understand what is Fazan's rule, because polarization is purely guided by Fazan's rule. Now, what is polarization? Actually, polarization is the extent of covalent character in an ionic bond. How much a covalent bond will be inclined to behave like, how an ionic compound will be inclined to behave like a covalent compound, it gives that idea. Fazan's rule is is the directive to understand this polarization. Actually, in our activities, we have known that there are certain observations that many of the ionic compounds, generally ionic compounds have high melting and boiling point, but we find many of the ionic compounds are not presented with high melting point. On the other hand, many of the covalent compounds are represented with comparatively high boiling point than that is expected for them. The reason is, in many substances, bonding is not 100% ionic or 100% covalent. It is very difficult to get 100% ionic character in a compound or 100% covalent character in a compound. And Fazan's rule predicts whether a chemical bond will behave like a covalent bond or an ionic bond. And to be more precise, it is the extent of covalent character that is present in an ionic compound. Few ionic bonds have partial covalent character, which were first discussed by Fazan in the year 1923. And with the help of X-ray chromatography, he was able to predict ionic or covalent compounds bonding with the attributes like ionic and atomic radius. Now, ideal ionic compounds should have completely separate spherical ions. When we talk about ideal ionic compound, there is complete charge separation of the cation and the anion. When we consider a compound, when a bond is formed between two elements to form a compound, then we can say that we know that the bond is comprising of two electrons. If these two electrons are shared mutually by either element, then it will behave like there will be no charge separation and it will act like a covalent bond. But on the other hand, if there is a large electronegativity difference between the two elements which are in bond formation to form a compound, then the more electronegative element will drag the bonded pair of electron towards itself, and there will be a distinct charge separation leading to cation and anion production. And this kind of cases, the bond formed will be ionic compound. Now, ideal ionic compound should have completely separate spherical ions and electron densities of the cation and anion which are apart from each other. However, if the positive ion has a high charge density, it can distort what I was saying, that if the positive ion has a high charge density, it can distort the negative ion by attracting the outer shell electron to give an area of electron density between the two species, and a bit like a covalent bond. What is polarization? Actually, in any element, the electron clouds are there. They rotate freely. There is an electron cloud. This electron cloud when they are forming a bond, this electron cloud some point of time gets attracted by the positive nucleus. And if the dragging force of the positive nucleus is such high, then there is a distortion of the electron clouds towards the nucleus, positively charged nucleus. And this distortion phenomena is known as polarization. The happening is called polarization. The distortion of the electron cloud because of the positively charged ion or nucleus is known as polarization. Now, when there is polarization, definitely there should be two things. One is polarizing agent, other one is polarizable. The electron cloud is polarizable, that is, it is able to be distorted, able to be polarized. So they are polarizable. The electron, the negative ion is polarizable, and the positive nucleus is polarizing agent. So you can see in the picture that this is the case. The red portion represents the cation and the blue portion represents the anion. The blue electron cloud is getting distorted because of the dragging force of the positively charged nucleus in the cation. Now, in this regard, what would be the extent of polarization and what are the factors that influence polarization is purely guided by Fazan's rule. It says that, as I said, the polarizing power is the extent to which a cation can polarize an anion. Since cations are the polarizing agent, the polarizing power is the extent to which a cation can polarize an anion, and it is proportional, definitely, is to the charge density of the cation. More the charge in the cation, in the nucleus, more it will be polarizing. More polarizing power it will adopt. It will be more polarizing agent. And charge density is simply the ratio of the charge to volume. What do you mean by saying charge density? It has a volume and it has some charge. It is the ratio of the charge divided by its volume. That means if there is a bigger volume and the number of charges is fixed, charge density will be reduced, and if the volume is very less and the charge remains the same, the charge density will increase. So we can say that the polarizing power increases with the increase in charge density and the cation becomes more polarizing agent. On the contrary, polarizing power is proportional to charge density. On the other hand, if the size of the cation is lesser, the charge density increases and similarly the polarizing power increases. Now, talking about polarizability, it is the extent to which an ion, rather to be more specific, an anion can be polarized. It can also be called as the ease with which the ion can be distorted, can be polarized. So, this polarizability, the ability to get polarized, increases when the number of electron in the ion increases. As there are more number of electrons, naturally they will be repelling each other and they will be prone to be attracted towards the positively charged nucleus, and naturally the electron cloud will be distorted. On the other hand, if the size of the anion is very big, then it is very difficult to have control over all the electrons that are present in the outermost shell. So the outermost electron will be susceptible to be distorted by the dragging power of the positively charged nucleus. So these are the factors, and this has been said by Fazan's rule, which are the postulates of Fazan's rule. What he said? He said, size of the ion, smaller the size of the cation, we have already discussed that smaller the size of the cation, the larger the size of the anion, greater is the covalent character of the ionic bond. The charge of the cation, greater the charge of the cation, greater is the covalent character, because it is becoming more polarizing agent, and the electronic configuration is also important. So talking about the size of the ion, we can say, if the cation is very small, it is more polarizing agent. If the anion is very big, it is more polarizable. So if the cation is smaller and the anion is bigger, the polarization increases and covalent character in a bond increases. Talking about the size of the charge of the ion, if the cation is having more charge, it is more polarizing agent. So, more covalent character. If the anion is also having more charge, then also it is easily polarizable, and hence more polarization will occur, leading to higher tendency of covalent bond in the compound. Now, last one is the electronic configuration. For cations with the same charge and size, the one with n-1 D10 Na0, that is pseudo noble gas configuration, if they are attaining, they are more polarizing agent. This is an exception, the electronic configuration. We have to remember this. The ions having pseudo noble gas configuration, for example, Ag plus, Cu plus, not Cu2 plus, Ag plus, Cu plus, Cd2 plus, cadmium 2 plus, they all acquire pseudo noble gas configuration, and the configuration is somewhat like this: N1 D10 NS0. The outermost shell is having pseudo noble gas configuration. Since they are having pseudo noble gas configuration, they are commonly found to be more polarizing agent. Now, the explanation of the Fazan's rule, we have already discussed this. Then once again, let us discuss this. The first rule speaks about the polarizing power of the cation. If the cation is smaller, then we can say that the volume of the ion is less. Cation smaller, that means the volume less, hence the charge density increases. As the charge density increases, it becomes more polarizing agent. More polarizing agent means more polarization, and that ultimately leads to the covalent character in the compound. Now, size of the ion we have already discussed. You can see the pictorial diagram. This is the cation. Then the pink color is the cationic charge, and the blue color represents the anionic charge. So, the first what happens, the size of the cation is small and the size of the anion is bigger. Both of them facilitates polarization. If the cation is smaller, we have discussed in first rule, if the cation is smaller and the anion is bigger, then the polarization is facilitated. So obviously the electron cloud, that is the blue colored thing, will be distorted towards, will be distorted towards the positively charged nucleus, and hence they will club, and finally the bonded pair will be shared by mutually by both cation and the anion, leading to covalency. Now, Fazan's rule for the rule 2, what it says, the second rule also speaks about the polarizing power of the cation. If the cation has more charge, then the charge density is high. Naturally, if the size remains the same and the charge increases, the charge density increases, and as the charge density increases, naturally what happens is, the polarizing ability, polarizing power of the cation increases, leading to greater extent of polarization and ultimately ending up with more covalency in the bond. The third rule is a special case. Let us use an example to explain this. For example, if we want to find more covalent compound among HgCl2 and CaCl2, HgCl2 and CaCl2, we cannot be here, the size factor or the number of charge factor doesn't come. This is because both Hg2 plus and Ca2 plus are of almost equal size. But the explanation is somewhat like this, that is explained by the third rule. That means this electronic configuration of Hg2 plus is 6s05d10. The configuration is called pseudo-octet or pseudo-noble gas configuration because of the d orbital being fully filled up. But the element does not have 8 electrons in an octet formation. So, we can conclude that in case of Hg2 plus, it will be imparting more covalent character. That means the covalency in the compounds that are formed by involving Hg2 plus will be imparting more covalent character. Ultimately, the result being more covalency in the compound, and the reason being the polarization, the more extent of polarization. Hence, this ionic character or covalent character can be manifested, can be represented like this. If the cation size is large, then it is ionic character. If the anion size is large, if the cation size is large and smaller cation, if the cation size is large, it will be imparting ionic character, and if the cation size is smaller, it will be imparting covalent character. In case of anion, smaller anion leads to ionic character, but larger anion leads to covalent character, and small charge of the ion leads to ionic character, and large charge of the ions, both cation and anion, ultimately leads to covalent character. Some examples. Let us have an example, like if we are supposed to arrange these elements, these compounds rather, in terms of their increasing order of covalency, then the compounds are sodium fluoride, sodium chloride, sodium bromide and sodium iodide. We have to arrange all these 4 compounds in terms of their increasing covalency. Now let us understand, since the cation is the same, that is sodium, there is no difference in size of the cation or the charge of the cation. Amongst the larger anions, the size more would be the covalency. That is, which one is larger anion? Larger anion means more polarizable. Which one is larger? Therefore, the larger is, we know in the periodic table, the size is somewhat like this. Size increases from left to right and increases from top to bottom. That is, the size decreases from left to right and also from top to bottom. So as we go downward in a group, the size increases. That means the first there is fluorine, then chlorine, then bromine, then iodine. So the trend would be the fluorine would be the smallest one and iodine would be the greatest one. So the trend would be first sodium fluoride, then sodium chloride, then sodium bromide and sodium iodide, if we arrange them in terms of increasing order of nature of covalency. Now, example 2, copper chloride is more covalent than sodium chloride. Why? As we said, this can be also explained by the third rule. Copper plus acquires pseudo-noble gas configuration, the configuration being 4s0 and 3d10. Which is pseudo-noble gas configuration, and according to rule 3, that is, if someone is having some element, some compound or some ion is having pseudo-noble gas configuration, they will be more prone to polarize the electron cloud. They will be higher polarizing agent and the polarization will be facilitated. Naturally, the covalency will be imparted in case of CuCl rather than in case of NaCl. Then lithium chloride is more soluble in pyridine than H2O. Why? Lithium plus is a very small cation. Thus, according to rule 1, which deals with the size of the ion, it is more polarizing because it has higher charge density. Thus, in lithium chloride, a covalent compound, lithium chloride is a covalent compound. Covalency will be imparted because of facilitation of polarization. Lithium being more polarizing agent, but that is not in the case of H2O. And that is all I had to say about this polarization, polarizing power, polarizing agent and polarizability, ultimately ending up with Fazan's rule. Thank you so much for being patient, for being listening to me, for giving me a patient hearing. Thank you. We will meet once more in some other context. Thank you. Thank you so much.